Ladies and gentlemen, delivering a powerful speech centered around the themes of breaking personal limits, enduring fatigue, and embracing the necessity of doing things alone is a profound message that resonates deeply with anyone on a journey towards success. It speaks to the universal struggle of overcoming obstacles, facing adversity, and ultimately emerging stronger on the other side. Today, I want to take you on a journey where you learn to push beyond your comfort zone, to embrace exhaustion as a sign of progress, and to cultivate the strength to move forward, even when the path seems lonely. Because in the end, true growth happens not in moments of ease, but in the moments when you break yourself, get tired, and do it alone. We live in a world that often prioritizes comfort and convenience, where the prevailing mindset is one that seeks to avoid pain, to sidestep challenges, and to seek out the easiest path to success. Yet, when we look at the lives of those who have achieved great things, those who have left an indelible mark on history, we see a common thread. They were willing to push themselves beyond the limits that most people accept. They were willing to break themselves in the pursuit of something greater. And that is where I want to begin, by talking about the importance of breaking yourself, of pushing beyond the limits that you think define you, and discovering that those limits are often nothing more than mental constructs. We all have our boundaries. The places where we stop because it's uncomfortable, because it hurts, or because we're afraid. But the truth is that those boundaries are often self-imposed. They exist in our minds, built by our fears, our doubts, and our desire to avoid discomfort. Yet it is precisely at the edge of discomfort where growth happens. When you push past those boundaries, when you break yourself, you open up a world of possibilities that you never knew existed. Think about the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, and the most visionary leaders. They didn't get to where they are by staying within the limits of what was comfortable. They got there by pushing themselves beyond those limits, by breaking through the mental and physical barriers that held them back. Breaking yourself is not about destruction for the sake of destruction. It's about realizing that growth happens through challenges. When you break a muscle in the gym, it grows back stronger. When you face mental challenges, your mind becomes sharper. When you confront emotional struggles, you develop resilience. This process of breaking and rebuilding is the foundation of personal growth. But it requires you to be willing to go beyond what you think you're capable of. It requires you to confront your fears, your self-doubt, and your limitations. It requires you to face the uncomfortable truth that you are often your own greatest obstacle. The mental barriers we create are powerful. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown, they all conspire to keep us within our comfort zones. We tell ourselves that we're not ready, that we're not good enough, that we don't have what it takes. But these are just stories we tell ourselves to avoid the pain of pushing beyond our limits. The truth is, we all have the capacity to do more than we think we can. We just have to be willing to break the mental chains that hold us back. This is not easy. It requires a deep level of self-awareness and courage. It requires you to look at yourself honestly and ask, what am I afraid of? What's holding me back? And then it requires you to confront those fears head-on. When you embrace this process of breaking yourself, you begin to realize that pain and fatigue are not the enemies, they are signals that you're moving in the right direction. Pain and fatigue mean that you're challenging yourself, that you're pushing your boundaries, that you're growing. Too often we associate pain with failure and fatigue with weakness. But in reality, they are the markers of effort. They are the signs that you are doing something meaningful, something that is worth the struggle. When you work out and your muscles ache, it means they are growing. When you study late into the night and your brain feels fried, it means you're learning. When you work tirelessly on a project and you feel exhausted, it means you're making progress. Yet we are conditioned to avoid pain and fatigue. We are told to seek balance, to avoid burnout, to take it easy. And while balance and rest are important, there's a difference between rest that is earned and rest that is taken out of avoidance. If you never push yourself to the point of fatigue, if you never break yourself down, then you will never know how far you can truly go. The reality is, most people quit when they get tired. They stop when it starts to hurt. They give up when the road gets tough. But those who succeed are the ones who keep going even when they're exhausted, even when they're broken. Even when every part of them is screaming to stop. Getting tired is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you're on the right path. It's a sign that you're putting in the effort required to achieve something great. When you're tired, it means you're pushing yourself beyond what you thought was possible. It means you're digging into reserves of energy and strength that you didn't know you had. And it's in those moments when you're exhausted and broken that you discover what you're truly capable of. It's in those moments that you realize that tiredness is not the end, it's just the beginning. Because when you're tired, you've only just begun to tap into your potential. Think about the most transformative moments in your life. Were they moments of ease and comfort? Or were they moments of struggle, of exhaustion, of pushing yourself beyond what you thought you could handle? Transformation requires energy, and energy is finite. But it's by exhausting yourself that you unlock deeper levels of strength and resilience. When you push yourself to the brink, when you get tired, you're not just testing your limits, you're expanding them. You're growing, you're transforming. And this is the process that leads to true success. Of course, there's a balance to be found between pushing yourself and burning out. It's not about constantly being on the edge of exhaustion. It's about knowing when to push and when to rest. It's about understanding that rest is part of the process, but it's not an excuse to avoid hard work. Rest is a tool that allows you to come back stronger, to push even harder the next time. Strategic exhaustion, working hard in bursts followed by periods of recovery, is the key to sustained growth. It's about recognizing that tiredness is not something to be feared or avoided, but something to be embraced as part of the journey. And then there's the matter of doing it alone. This is perhaps the hardest part of the journey because it requires a level of self-reliance and inner strength that most people are not comfortable with. We live in a society that celebrates teamwork and collaboration, and while these are important, there are times when the journey must be walked alone. There are times when the challenges you face cannot be shared with others, when the road ahead is yours to walk and yours alone. This is not a sign of weakness or isolation. It is a necessary part of growth. Doing it alone forces you to rely on yourself, to develop self-discipline, and to take full responsibility for your success or failure. When you work alone, there's no one else to blame when things go wrong. There's no one else to share the burden or to take credit for your achievements. This can be daunting, but it is also incredibly empowering. When you learn to rely on yourself, you become stronger. You develop a level of independence and resilience that can't be taken away from you. You learn that you are capable of far more than you thought possible, and that you don't need anyone else to validate your success. There will be moments on this journey when you feel isolated, when the weight of your challenges feels too heavy to bear. But it is in these moments of solitude that you will find your true strength. When there is no one else to turn to, you are forced to dig deep within yourself to find the reserves of strength that have been lying dormant, waiting to be discovered. This is the essence of self-reliance. It's not about cutting yourself off from the world or rejecting the help of others. It's about knowing that at the end of the day, you are the one responsible for your own success. Failure is a part of this process. When you're working alone, failure can feel even more personal and more painful. But failure is not the end. It is an opportunity to learn, to reflect, and to grow. When you fail, you are forced to confront your mistakes, to take responsibility for them, and to figure out how to do better next time. This is where the real growth happens. It's in the moments of failure, when you're alone with your thoughts and your disappointments, that you have the opportunity to reflect and to improve. When you succeed after failure, the victory is that much sweeter because you know you did it on your own. Doing it alone doesn't mean you have to be alone forever. Once you've mastered the art of self-reliance, you can bring that strength into collaborations and partnerships. You can work with others from a place of strength, knowing that you are capable of handling challenges on your own. You can contribute more fully to a team because you've learned how to rely on yourself. The journey of doing it alone is not about rejecting others. It's about building the strength and confidence to stand on your own, so that when you do work with others, you do so from a place of empowerment. Throughout history, we see countless examples of individuals who have broken themselves, pushed past exhaustion, and succeeded in isolation. Think about athletes who train. Imagine you're a young entrepreneur with a vision to start your own business. You have a great idea, but very little support or experience. As you begin to work on your project, you quickly realize that the journey is much more difficult than you anticipated. The first challenge is the overwhelming workload. You are responsible for everything from product development to marketing, customer service, and finances. Without a team or a large budget, it's all on you. This is where you begin to break yourself mentally and physically. You start by working long hours, late into the night and early mornings, often skipping meals or sleep just to get things done. At first, the adrenaline keeps you going, but soon the exhaustion sets in. You feel tired all the time, your mind feels heavy, and your body aches from sitting at a desk for hours on end. The challenges start to pile up. Your initial excitement is replaced by doubts, and there are days when you wonder if it's even worth it. You see others around you living more balanced lives, spending time with friends and family, while you are trapped in a cycle of work. It becomes tempting to give up or slow down, but something inside you keeps pushing you forward. As time goes on, you begin to hit serious roadblocks. Investors turn you down, and potential partners don't see the value in your idea. The pressure mounts as your finances dwindle. You reach a point where every decision feels like a gamble, and the fear of failure is constantly hanging over you. This is the point where most people would give up, but you don't. You decide to keep pushing, even though you're tired, even though you're broken. You start to embrace the grind. You learn to accept that tiredness is part of the process, that feeling exhausted doesn't mean you're failing, but rather that you're pushing yourself to grow. You begin to see every setback as a lesson and every failure as an opportunity to improve. You stop worrying about what others are doing or thinking, and you focus entirely on your own journey. It's hard. There are days when you feel completely alone in your struggles, but you've learned to rely on yourself. You realize that no one else is going to do the work for you, and that if you want to succeed, you have to be willing to endure the pain and exhaustion that comes with it. By the time you reach a level of success where others start to take notice, they see the results, but not the countless hours of hard work, the exhaustion, or the moments of doubt. They see the polished product, the growing business, and the outward signs of success, but they don't see the lonely nights or the sacrifices you made along the way. They don't see the times when you wanted to quit but didn't. They don't see the exhaustion that became your constant companion. But you know that every step of the way you broke yourself, got tired, and did it alone. And that is what made all the difference. That the success you achieved wasn't handed to you. It was earned through the constant process of breaking yourself, getting tired, and pushing forward on your own. And because of that, it's something no one can take away from you. In conclusion, the journey of breaking yourself, getting tired, and doing it alone is not for the faint of heart. It demands persistence, resilience, and an unwavering belief in yourself. The path to success is filled with obstacles, exhaustion, and moments of doubt, but these challenges are what build strength, character, and grit. In solitude, when the support systems fall away and when fatigue feels overwhelming, is where real growth happens. Those who endure, who continue pushing despite the odds, emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. Ultimately, the power to succeed lies within you, the willingness to break through your limits, embrace the struggle, and walk the journey alone when needed. It's not about avoiding hardship, but about learning to thrive through it. Success is born from the relentless pursuit of a goal, no matter how tired or broken you may feel along the way.